In several places in this course, you will hear me talk about your money in regards to your publishing journey and specifically what it means to invest in this journey. One of those places is in the 30-day video series where I am talking about 5 reasons you're not ready to publish. One of those reasons is you have the money to pay the professionals needed to help you get your book ready, but you refuse to use it for that. Instead, you prefer to figure it out on your own, cut corners. This is paraphrased. This is not exactly what I said in the video, but basically. And I want to take this time to focus on your budget specifically because in reality, before you decide to write a book that you plan to publish and do well and hopefully have the world supporting, you need to be real with yourself about what your money looks like. You need to be real with yourself about the fact that publishing is a financial investment, just like any other big event. I mentioned a car, a house, anything that you plan to have for a long time, you're going to need to invest in. And I understand that there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of areas that need financing in the publishing journey. And I also understand that if you don't know what all of that means, it can be very overwhelming when you find out. However, this is not a journey to be played with. So you need to discuss with yourself and whoever else may be on your team, whoever else is involved in this journey with you in any way. You need to discuss what the budget is. And I'm going to recommend that you do not start off trying to do things cheaply. That is a terrible way to go about your publishing journey. Coming into it, trying to cut corners, trying to figure out how you can get the lowest price for all of the services is going to be a loss for you and for your readers in the long run. So, yes, I also talk in several places about saving money because I am all about that. However, there's a difference between saving money by doing things yourself when you know that you have the capability, the full capability. And then there is knowing your limits, knowing that something is not your lane and that you need to hire a professional. So I am never going to say you can't do any of this yourself because you might be able to do several aspects of it, it being the publishing journey. You may be able to do several aspects of it yourself, but only you know, if you're being very honest with yourself, whether or not the thing that you are trying to do is really something you are adept at. And that is where your discernment has to be top notch. You cannot be delusional about this process and be running around trying to do all the things because you want to save money. So when you're thinking about writing a book, at the top of the list is, do I have money for this? Realistically, do I have the money that I need to carry myself through this entire journey and make sure that I put out a top-notch product that I'm not going to regret giving to people? And if you have to think about that for too long, then it's probably not a good time to publish. If you know that you've got a lot of debt that you're focusing on paying off, if you know that you have other bigger responsibilities, then publishing may not be the thing for you right now. Because unless you plan on moving some things around and creating a budget, a nice size budget, so you can do this right, then I'm going to say have a seat, take the time to do some more studying, spend some time reading, doing as much other stuff as you can do to get yourself prepared for your writing and publishing journey, things that don't cost a whole lot of money or any at all. And then when you have the kind of money that you can invest in this process and not feel overwhelmed and not feel like you're going to regret doing it, or feeling like you really should be spending this money on something else more important. You don't want to feel like that about this process. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to help you grow. You're supposed to be able to really enjoy it and embrace it. And you can't do any of that if at every turn you're concerned about how much something is going to cost you. So this is where I want you to evaluate closely what your finances are really like and be very honest about what you have. Be honest about what that money is for. Be honest about whether you can make room for publishing and paying the professionals what they charge without cringing, and deciding if now is really the right time for you to publish. Not so much is it the right time to write the book, because unless you need some coaching, which of course then we're talking about investing again, because maybe you're not a great writer. Maybe you know that you can't just jump in right now and knock out a book without significant help. Okay, so then maybe it's not time to write the book. But let's just say you have some confidence in your abilities and you're going to go ahead and try to get a first draft done on your own without having to pay a writing coach. That's fine. It's everything after that that you need to be realistic about, because once the book is done, you've typed the end, or at least on your first draft, then you need to start getting ready to pay all the people involved in getting your book ready for the world. So I would like for you to come up with a plan for how you're going to move through this and feel comfortable and confident that you're doing the right thing for you and for your readers.